stop or two. Can they make a play on offense?
And he's going to go down. Can't get rid of it, so a sack on the two-point try.
I know we could sit up here and dance around it a little bit, but going for two in this situation, somebody doesn't like someone else. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, what they couldn't see is you lean back in your chair and you went, yeah, that's not a good decision. They didn't get it, though.
Yeah, I don't think you just say, well, my kicker's hurt in this spot. No, okay.
The Bengals drive about to get going.
Well, partner, you know, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one.
Burrow's throw taken in here by Chase. And they're able to work this across midfield to the 48.
Under a minute to go in this third quarter as they come up 1st and 10. Burrow looking to pass. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, so let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They've given him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks, and he seems a little bit confused trying to complete passes.
And they'll get this just to the 47, 1-yard gain. They'll need to get this to the 38. That's where the first down marker is here on third. From the shotgun, Joe Burrow. And that is incomplete.
Trying to get that one to his tight end, and they've been trying to get the ball to him, but as of yet, unable to successfully complete one. But you know, there's usually a nice comfort zone in throwing to the tight end. Great sight lines, usually right in the middle of the field.
And this one will be touchdown inside the 40-yard line. And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. And he's going to be stopped up quickly here. Just a yard up to the 39.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Now he'll turn and throw deep back to the other side of the field. He's got a man, complete.
And they're going to get this down inside the 20.
Boy, another big play late here for an offense, Charles, that certainly has had its fair share of big plays.
Coverage has been a problem all game long, and I would say that going along with that has been confidence. Because even if they had the right coverage, they've still dented them, and now it's been a real issue for them during this game.
A good run, got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. They run it again with Chubb, and he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. It's a 3-yard pickup, and that sets up 1st and goal. Back to throw, Watson. Flush to his right. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Cleveland. Deshaun Watson with his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
And the Browns add another 6 points to what's going to be a blowout victory.
And now again, the Browns, they line up for 2. They'll look to throw. It's complete. And he will not make it to the goal line as his try for 2 is going to come up empty. But that's little consolation to this defense as they have been porous all game long. Oh, this is a touch cruel here. They've got the big lead. Now they're going for the jugular with the onside kick. And this one travels out of bounds, so unsuccessful there on the onside kick try.
Well, you don't see that often. He just mishit it, and it goes out of bounds.
Well, I know sitting up here, and I'm looking at you, and you're looking at me, and I know we're both thinking the same thing. Isn't it easy enough to keep it?
And oh, my goodness, he loses it again. And this is picked up by the Browns. And his guys are going to get the football at their own 47-yard line. And I don't know that that fumble is going to matter a whole lot. You look at the deficit here in the 4th. It doesn't matter. The coach on the sideline still scratching his head.
Yeah, not only scratching his head, but probably writing a note or two about we're going to address this come practice next week because Maybe that's the reason we're down this far. Doesn't matter at this point, but being sloppy throughout the game, not going to help him improve.
He'll get it inside the 20.
And they're going to be set up down around the 15-yard line. So the big play nullified, illegal forward pass.
And maybe we know why they were able to get such a good chunk of yardage on that play. That pass was illegal.
On second down, here's Watson, escaping the pressure right. Now he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. Turns out to be a great idea to tuck that one. Good for 24 yards. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Now Watson. The Bengal pressure gets him that time. Down he goes. Joseph Osai. Credit him with a sack as he buries him for a loss of 10. Throwing on 2nd and long. Watson. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. The Browns on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and a mile. And Chubb will try the middle here. And he'll go down at the 28. It'll be a pickup of 16, but they'll remain short of the marker, and it's 4th down. They had quite a hole to dig out of there on 3rd and long. Not able to get the first, but a pretty good size run.
A really good run, but how much confidence do you have in your next play call that you can sell to the head coach? Let's go get it on 4th down. Do you really have a play you believe in, or are you just hopeful? And you got to sell it to the big man before it gets called.
So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. The Bengals drive about to get going.
Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
The ball popped in the air and intercepted.
Picked off by Greg Newsome.
And he is not quite going to make it all the way in. They'll mark him down right about the 1-yard line.
But with this advantage, this defense knew that passes were coming, and they stayed in position, Charles, and picked one off here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, what a way to cap.
And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Well, when coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all 3 phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back to the early drives, you can just see that one squad was on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed in watching their execution throughout this contest. I don't know about you, but I can't wait for a few years of 2-point tries and see what the data tells us, because a lot of teams want to throw the ball in this situation, this time unsuccessfully. I just wonder if maybe running the ball might be the way to go.
With it moved up from the 3 to the 2, you would think maybe a few more attempts at running.
I think stats over time may bear out that running the ball will at least be the equal of throwing it in that situation.
Now Burrow loses the football.
And the offense will cover this one up, but they'll be pushed back inside their own 10. Now this one from about 2 counties over after the sack. They come up on a 2nd and very long. And his throw here's incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Well, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10.
They go up the middle with Chubb. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Not much defensive resistance on that drive. And really, Charles, the way this offense has been humming, they haven't faced much defensive resistance the entire game.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that one team, their defense did not wake up and make it to the stadium for this one. There may be some major changes on that side of the ball when we see them the next time out.
And they are just not going to let up as he is into the end zone here for 2 more.
But I guess when you're hot, you're hot. I mean, I would just go ahead and take the extra point and move on, but apparently they've got something to prove. Almost feels like something was said this week, and they wanted to make sure that they laid it on them in this game.
And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. On 1st and 10, Joe Burrow flushed out right. Over the middle, and it's incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10.
Burrow, a quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. They're passing here, Joe Burrow. And that's going to be incomplete. The contact there enough to jar that ball free, and it brings up 4th down. The Bengals bring out their punter now. Remember, though, he did have one blocked earlier. Oh, it's a wobbler here.
So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit.
Throwing now, Watson. He's going to take a shot right away for the end zone. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Well, this is long since over, and some might see this as overkill, but remember, this is a team that puts on the hard hats, grabs the lunch pail, and tells everyone, we're going to give you a full 60 minutes. And that's exactly how they're playing this one out.
Here we go now as they will again try for 2. Here's Watson. And this is going to be caught. So add 2 more to the lead as they continue to pour it on here in the 4th.
I think this is just going to be a function of the times we live in now. Very similar to the bat-flipping baseball. Everyone's got to start to get comfortable with this. But to me, this is just rubbing it in. You got a big lead. Go ahead and take the extra point. One thing to keep in mind, though, karma's still out there. And sometimes it has a way of catching up with you.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field.
Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
Well, this was a blowout supported by both sides of the ball today, Charles. It would be easy to look at the offense and say, man, they were clicking, and they were, but don't forget about the effort by this defense as well.
Yeah, they weren't going to let up just because the lead was saved. They wanted to play as big a part in this game as their offense did in making this blowout. They needed to be noticed as well, and they played accordingly.
So that'll do it for my partner, Charles Davis, and the best darn crew in the industry. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. It's a win for the Browns, and they're happy in the dog pound as we say so long from Cleveland.